Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome to the perfect cure for when you're feeling a bit down. It's a TOG 2 replay. As you can see, this is Prokhorovka and there's no artillery, and well, this is going to be a bit silly. It's a TOG game. I mean, they're inherently a bit silly, but this is going to be a little bit even more silly on top of that. This is ThatDumbTurtle, and he's actually divisioned up with another TOG, Hipster G. And together, well, they're just going to go straight over the top pretty much. But given that they're in TOGs, that's going to take a while. And that lets me read out a little item from the Gazette. That gives me sufficient time, I hope. If you follow me on Twitter, you've probably already seen this. But yes, basically this is the Gazette's take on the US election result. And I'm going to quote directly from the website here. Donald Trump will be the first US president eligible to play in Lewis football's oldest competition. To be picked for the teams in the Allen and Freud Cup, players or their parents must have been born in a rural village on the island. As well as being the 45th president of the USA, Trump's most important claim to fame is that he is the son of tongue woman Mary Ann McLeod, born in 1912, making him eligible to pull on the blue shirt of Back Football Club. His mother emigrated across the Atlantic in 1930, the fourth of the McLeod sisters to do so, and married Fred Trump in New York 6 years later, with the couple having 4 children. Mary Ann died in 2002, aged 90. Mr. Trump also has a footballing pedigree, having picked Leeds to play Manchester United whilst drawing the 1992 English League Cup quarter-final. Mr. Trump edged out Hillary Rodham Clinton, who has no recent Scottish ancestry nor footballing credentials, to lead the USA. Reports that Back FC officials within the corridors of power of Upper Cole are looking to draft Trump in the next season's EAF Cup have yet to be confirmed. So there you go, the Stornoway Gazette with all the news that matters. I don't know what the comments section is going to be like, just even having mentioned the name of Donald Trump, even in this slightly silly context. But anyway, on to the match, on to more serious matters. World of Tanks, very serious. So this is it, they've made it to the middle, partly assisted by KV-1. There was also a Matilda that got drawn into the gravitational attraction of ThatDumbTurtle's tank. And, well, having reached here, they've pushed over, but Turtle has taken a bit of damage in the meantime. They do have a KV-2 still extant somewhere, and in fact, there he is. He is their biggest threat by far, but he is over well on the other side of the flank, the other side of the map even, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. Although, given that he's in a KV-2, being further away, of course, makes his derp shells even more accurate. So we've had a fair number of hits so far. No damage counter in replays as of yet. Hopefully that gets fixed in the next patch. But of course, one of the positive features of the TOG, aside from its ability to combat depression in all forms, is of course the fact that it has a very fast rate of fire with the 17-pounder gun. And so if you get targets that you can manage to whack over and over, you can rack up a fair bit of damage, like this KV-1, who is very suspiciously still in the spawn circle, or the cap circle. Couldn't tell you if this was a bot or not, might just be a really awful player. It's a slightly sad but true statement about World of Tanks that you can look at somebody playing really terribly and just not be sure if they're actually a person or if they're a bot. It can be unclear because there are people that play that badly. Down to about half health now. The enemy mediums largely went to the hill, but there wasn't a lot from his own team there, so they've basically hurriedly panicked and turned around to try and defend their cap, but it's very hard from the tracks there. It's a lot easier from the other side. And this is one of those maps where certain bits, well, a lot of maps like this, it's kind of an obvious thing to say, certain bits are more important than other bits, but it also depends on where the enemy team goes. And in this case, his team really didn't do a lot with that side of the map. And because they've got control of this side of the tracks, and that more or less gives them control of the middle on this side of the map. They could defend their own cap rather easily, and so the enemy team are trying to defend their cap rather than push on Turtle's team's cap. Now the E2 is a bit of a tricky one to deal with. He's got a pretty good turret if he has the stock turret, and you'll see with the E2 a lot of people using the stock turret. He is using the 76mm rather than the derp, which might be good news for DumbTurtle, because if he fires heat with the derp, he could potentially do a lot more damage all at once, but the 76mm you've got to really plug away with it, and that means exposing yourself for well, not longer periods of time, but it involves exposing yourself more often, if that makes any sense, which it should do. So yeah, he's the main threat, and he's actually managed to shave off another couple of hundred hit points of DumbTurtle's health. So this is a bit tricky. You know, 2 more penning hits and he's done. DumbTurtle was trying to angle a bit there, but I mean, with the turret on the TOG, doesn't matter that much. The turret armor is not particularly good, so even if you're angling your hull fairly well, people can and will still just shoot you in the turret. And that, I think, was the case there with the E2, although it might not have been. It does have sufficient penetration with that 76mm to go through the front plate, even when it's relatively angled. Panzer IV, for some reason, just plows right over and immediately gets annihilated, but they are inflicting some losses of their own. I mean, the E2 in particular is not making this easy, and now the M6 has turned up as well. And he's taking some hits in the process, but he is also inflicting some pain. So, yeah, they are pushing into a bad situation, but they're making a go of it. They're not just sitting back and letting Turtle's team win. They are contesting. They're not, you know, going down without a fight. Anyway, the E2 was probably the biggest threat. He's down. The M6 potentially could kill Turtle with a single shell with that 90mm gun, but he doesn't get a chance to get a shot off. I mean, he was clearly thinking about going for it, but there's just too much firepower there. And that just leaves a Chaffee, who's probably hiding in a bush somewhere on the hill, and oh wait. Nope, just sat out in the open, and that was a nice final kill for DumbTurtle. And that was, of course, the shot that finished the match. So that's an ace tanker, steel wall. He did actually bounce some shots there as well, and a high caliber with 2.8k damage done very nearly. His platoon mate in the other TOG, Hipster, did just under 1200 damage. The SU had about 1400, and on the enemy team, yeah, it really was that the E2 that was keeping their chances alive, but they were just in too disadvantageous of a position at that stage. It was their fight to win or to lose. What am I going for with that? I don't know. Anyway, yes, it was the onus was on them to try and prevent the somewhat inevitable result, but they couldn't. So there you go. Some people have been asking for a Gazette video in a while. This wasn't a true proper Gazette video, but it was a bit from the Gazette. And I have to say, overall, I've been a bit disappointed with the Gazette in the last year or so. Some of my favourite features, well, I say favourite features, it was really the chess column that was the thing that amused me the most, but that got dropped some time ago. And then occasionally you get little bits like the article I read out, but yeah, I don't know, it's very po-faced and not in a good way a lot of the time, and just not particularly interesting to read, which is a bit disappointing, because the Gazette in the past has been maybe slightly better quality than a lot of local newspapers in the UK, but I'm not entirely sure that's true anymore. Anywho, there we are, the TOG 2 going over the top, just, you know, holding down the W key and not stopping until they'd won even, pretty much. And that's the, you know, the ideal in the TOG, is you just keep going and you win games, hopefully, but it doesn't always work out that way for some reason. Hopefully you've enjoyed this replay, and if you have, you can hit the like button, you can leave any comments below, you can sub to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.